Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm Mandi Grace, author of 10 young adult novels so far. Welcome to week 2 of the QC20. We did the 5,000 words that we needed to do last week. We got a little over that. We got 6,000. Not as far ahead as I was hoping to get over spring break, to be honest. But that's okay. So this week we're shooting for another 5K. To be on track, technically I would only need to get 4K, but I'm going to try and just like shoot for 5K every week and see what happens. Yeah. Anyway, so 5 days this week. I need to sit down and write 1,000 words. Or however that balances out. Yeah. It's freezing, you guys. Unrelated to writing. I'm so cold. Where did all the nice spring-like weather go? Why is it freezing again? I don't like it. I had to wear a hat to work. Like a fuzzy warm hat. And gloves. Why? It's almost April. I don't like it. I don't like that it's cold. So I didn't actually do any writing yesterday at all. I did other productive-y things, but I didn't do that. So, today, first day writing this week. We wrote chapter 5, which is, it needs help. It's kind of a stiff, awkward scene, I think, and I will come back to it later. This is first draft, it was whatever. But it's a scene between Cindy and Hope. And in the first book, in the original, it's 2 paragraphs. It's 100 words. It's 100 words in the original book. And in this book, it's 1,800 words. I expanded on it a little bit. So in the original book, Cindy is like, I hope Cassie's okay. I know she can handle herself, but I miss her. And I'll be glad once we find her when we invade Single State. And then Hope has this very brief inner monologue of like, Cassie, another person I've never met before. And then sort of side quest into this like, I'm supposed to be Moses, freeing my people from Egypt kind of thing. Because, you know, Hope has this, like, savior complex thing happening. Her story arc is so good. Even in the original book. So good. Very well crafted. Anyway, that's all that is. That's the whole thing. And I just thought, well, Cindy also mentions her boyfriend, James, who's also missing. Anyway, I just thought, I don't know, maybe Cindy should have a little bit of emotion attached, because literally what it says in the original book is, I hope Cassie is alright, period. I know she can handle herself, but I'll be glad once we've taken Single State, so I know for certain she's safe, period. And James too. Poor James, he's an afterthought. Anyway, that's the whole thing. Like, Cindy says that, and then Hope is thinking to herself about Cassie and James, and then about being Moses. Cindy has no emotions. She's never been apart from her sister, who is her other half, who is her soulmate. They are, you know, twins that are just like in sync. Anyway, she's never been apart from this person until this crazy journey that they've been on. And it's, you know, been months now, and she doesn't know where her sister is, and she doesn't know if she's alive, and she doesn't know what's happening to her. And the last thing that happened between the two of them before they separated was like they had the first real fight they've ever had, and they didn't reconcile prior to the separation. Like there should be some emotions attached to this. Like, I hope I hope Cassie is all right. And like in the original book, there's no, like, we don't see Cindy's facial expression. Are there tears in her eyes? Is her voice trembling as she says this? Anything at all? Are there emotions? Anyway, so I decided to take that little snippet of, you know, a couple of words that Cindy says and make it into an actual scene where she's feeling the grief and the confusion and trying to figure out how that also fits into this, like, newfound faith that she has, and she's figuring out this, like, Jesus thing. Anyway, so I made it into a whole scene, and it's a whole chapter. It's a very long scene. I do think it's a little stiff, though. Like, the Hope interaction, Hope trying to offer comfort part still feels not like a normal human being. And then, like, they talk about some Bible verses and different things, and I like them, but I don't know that it flows yet, like, as a conversation, and I don't want it to feel platitude-y. Like, I want it to be a genuine conversation, you know what I mean? Anyhow, so I think it will need help, is what I'm trying to say. When I come back for edits, I think that scene will need to be smoothed out a bit, to make the interaction more genuine and heartfelt and whatever. But it's much better than in the original book. Cindy is feeling emotions. She's crying. You know, she misses her boyfriend. She misses her sister. There's a lot more nuanced emotion happening, versus just, like, saying, I hope they're okay, with no emotion attached at all. Anyhow, so that's our new chapter 5. This does put us still in chapter 1 in the original book. We are 8,000 words into the new story, 5 chapters into the new story, starting chapter 6, I suppose, next. And we are still in chapter 1 of the original book. We only have one more scene in chapter 1. We only have one more scene. So we've almost gone through chapter 1. But we are currently still in chapter 1 of the original book. I don't know what that means for how massive this book is going to get in comparison to the original, but we will find out. We are now 8,000 words into the story, which is amazing. To be on track, I only need to be at 10K by the end of this week, but I'm totally going to write as much as possible every day that I can, because I'd like to be ahead, you know? Or even, like, finish writing the book in this challenge, which is impossible because it's going to be, like, 80,000 words. But, yeah, if I get more than 20K in this 20K challenge, I'm so okay with that, is the point that I'm making. I haven't written yet today, but I did have about an hour-long conversation with my critique partner, which was wonderful. We haven't met in months. It was so nice to be able to meet and chat and catch back up and everything. But I was able to talk through issues with Cindy through that, and then I think had a bit of an epiphany, which honestly I talked about in the last video, but recapping here because it was a today thing, so it's really a this week thing. But anyway, yeah, basically I got off of that call and then I started editing last week's video, and while I was listening to myself talk about Cindy's story arc, which I had just been ranting about with my critique partner, pieces started to pull together, and I just got this inkling that maybe part of the meandering nature of the boring section of the opening in Cindy's book is because we don't start in the middle of Cindy's action, and we're not starting at the beginning of Cindy's arc, which is why maybe the end of the arc falls flat, because it feels more like a meander like this instead of an actual arc. Don't know if that makes sense hand motion wise, but anyway, yeah, so just the idea of, like, starting earlier in the story instead of starting after the epilogue of Isolation, where Cassie doesn't know who she is, and Cindy's settled into a routine with Colin. She's worried about Cassie, she's worried about James, who's missing, but she's settled into a routine with Colin. She feels safe with Colin, and there's, like, a day-to-day rhythm happening, and so there's no panic for Cindy. Instead of doing that, which is how it opens right now, maybe starting before that. Start with where Cindy wakes up at Colin's house. Start where Cindy realizes that she doesn't have memories of her past life, and how does she react to that, and what is Cindy's reaction to finding out that Cassie doesn't know who she is. Instead of starting, like, after all of those events have happened, because it's after the epilogue of the first book, just backtrack a bit, because the epilogue is Cassie's perspective, and this is Cindy's story, so it doesn't matter if we go backwards. To show Cindy's side of things, and I do think that will help, honestly, to open the story with, like, the desperation and the panic and the what on earth is happening from Cindy's perspective, instead of starting it where she's already settled into a calm routine with Colin. I think that will make a major difference with the opening of the book. I don't know how that will play into the rest of the arc necessarily. I don't think that will fix all the problems. But I do think that will make a stronger opening, which then hopefully will give me more direction as I keep moving forward with the edit rewrites. Yeah, we're not doing that right now because we're drafting book 3. So that is going to be a summer task. But I guess that means my brain has a few more weeks to percolate on it and to make some more little epiphanies. And we'll keep going. But yeah, that's what's happened so far today. I haven't written in Hope's book yet today. I've just talked about Cindy's book, and then I talked about it some more to a camera. This is turning into week 2 and 3 of the QC20 because it's Thursday of week 3, and I haven't done anything remotely productive since Tuesday last week. That's not entirely true. I had a day where I wrote 79 words because I ran out of time because I sat down to write and then I was like, oh, I've got to leave. Which I think was last Wednesday. And then I wasn't productive on Thursday, and then I was sick and out of town Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And then I was still sick on Monday and Tuesday. I'm still kind of sick, actually. But less so. So now it's Thursday and I'm gonna be human. So we're gonna try to catch up because now it's week 3. We are definitely behind. By the end of this week, if I'm gonna be on track, I need to be at 15,000 words. And I think I'm at 8,000 words. Let me go check. 9,000. I'm at 9,000 words. Look at me go. Is that true? I'm not at 9,000 words. No, that's not true. It does say 9,000, but I'm not at 9,000 words. That has, because I had started to write a scene, it has the 79 words that I wrote at the top, and then it has the previous scene from the old chapter that I've pulled over, but I don't know if I'm using or if it will look like this. So that 1,000 words doesn't count. That 1,000 words is not existent. I think I'm at 8,000 words. Anyway, I'm going to do this scene, and maybe I will be at 9,000 words, officially. By the end of it. Or not. I don't know. But before Sunday, I would like to be at 15,000 words. So we'll see if we can get there. I don't know if I can. It's been a pitiful 2 weeks. But we're going to see what we can do. We're going to see what we can do. Also, it's somehow April already. And I don't think I've done an April bullet journal yet, so that also needs to get done. Okay, I finished the scene. We are at 9,000 words. 9,690 words, so we're doing great. Let me see what I actually ended up writing today. I used quite a bit from the original scene. I added a few things, I moved some things around, and I did delete a few pieces of the conversation that were just unnecessary and kind of silly. Let's see. Today's actual word count is 1466. Look at us go. That was fantastic. I have places to be and things to do and yada yada. So writing is going to have to come to a close. But, that was great. That was wonderful. That was a good writing session, since the last one I had was 79 words. That one doesn't really count. It happened, but it doesn't really count. It was like 10 minutes. Hi, editing Mandi here, just to say that, that's the end. We didn't write anymore, that weekend at all. To be fair, it was Easter. I went home. I was at the farm and hanging out with family and doing other things. I did take my computer intending to write, but I didn't write, and I spent my time with my family, and that was probably the better choice to make anyway. So we ended last week, week 3, at 9,690 words. And now we're in the final week, and we are not going to make it to 20K unless I miraculously write 10,000 words this week. which is doable in a sense, because I have done crazy things like that in the past, but I find that to be unrealistic. I don't believe that will happen. But we did write let me do some quick math. 2, 3, about 3,500 words in the last 2 weeks, which is not the 10K that should have happened in the last 2 weeks. But it's more words than I would have had otherwise. One of those weeks I was sick, so I had a legitimate excuse. The other week, I don't have an excuse. But here we are. That's what you get. That's all I did for 2 and 3. I'll see you back for the final week, and we'll see if I do that 10K, I guess, but I probably won't.